Hey guys, it's your bros here from the Gold Dang Bros Gaming. All right, got Sean over here, and always Tiger, our deck list creator and chef of all, cooking up some deck lists for this new rotation coming up. We've been coining it full steam ahead into Journey together. These cards are bringing a lot more differences into decks, that's for sure, making people change a lot of what they were used to. I know me, I'm changing a lot of what I was used to, trying to find that right build that I'm having fun with. Different for me, not as a competitor, more as a player, just kind of having fun with it. Tiger, what about you? How you having fun with Journey Together cards so far?
The Journey Together cards in general haven't been very impactful for the decks that I've been playing. I do think some are very fun, like the Zacian's deck. We've been playing the Iron Valiant version just because on live it's a lot more consistent of getting turn one, turn two wins. But overall, I think Lily's Clefairy is going to be the most impactful card that we're going to see in these next few weeks.
Yeah, I believe it was a show or two ago. We coined that, saying it was the most impactful card, and I have seen it on the floor. Other people talk about it. Lily's Clefairy is impacting so many decks out there, so many builds. You got to worry about it, or you got to plan to put it in. Leading into that, I was privy to be at the Full Grip 4K doubleheader. I didn't play. I actually got into judge, so I was judging the first day for the actual 3K, and then I played some GLC on Sunday. We'll get into that later in the show. But one of our very own local seniors, yes, you heard that right, seniors. This kid is still in middle school. Won the 3K doubleheader. Deven Ramanathan is one of the, I would say, most accomplished players, younger players we've had in our group. Hasn't won a regional yet, but let me tell you, that boy has been there and has tasted it. So it's very close for him. We were lucky enough to get a solid interview with him. Tiger and Troy got to sit down with Deven and really get to talk about his run. How'd that interview go for you, Tiger, before we cut to it?
Great, honestly. Devin's a super smart kid, super nice kid. Been around our locals for years now. Started off because his brothers played, and then he got into it, and he became one of the best seniors in the world. I'm pretty sure he's in the top 30 to top 50 in the world, and he's in the top 15 to 20 for just North America. So it is crazy how good this kid is.
All right, so we'll go ahead and cut to that interview and show you guys what we talked to him about. Hear it from the boy himself, the man himself, Deven Ramanathan, winning again on Terrabox. So here's that interview coming right at you.
Hey everybody, Tiger here with the Gold Hang Bros. We're here with the Full Grip Games post rotation winner. This is Devin, and I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Hi, my name's Devin. I'm 13 years old. I'm a Pokemon TCG senior player, and I just won the Full Grip Games 1K post rotation tournament.
All right, Devin, congratulations on winning that. What did you end up playing there?
My deck of choice, I played the Terrabox archetype. And I played it because it has the most versatile matchups into the top decks. It has also a lot of like skill potential, skill expression. So yeah, that's pretty much why I played it.
Nice, nice. Brand new deck with high skill level, high skill potential. Now, what made you decide to play in the Master Division as a senior?
It was mostly because Atlanta Regionals is coming up next weekend. So I really wanted that extra bit of practice, extra rounds, against like the highest level of players they have. So yeah, that's why I played it
Right.
against
Playing
them.
against the higher division is always going to give you a little bit more competition than playing just a random group of seniors. Is I can see that. Um, what do you think the toughest matchups that you saw were?
I mean, the hardest game that I played in the tournament was probably the first round. I faced a mirror match, but the issue was I lost the coin flip, so it's a lot harder to win the prize trade if you go second.
Right.
Yeah, and that was my hardest game. And then In the second game, I also didn't get a turn 1 fan rotom out. It was really hard to continue attacking every turn if you whiff that. So yeah.
So you'd say the Fan Rotom Noctowl package is probably the most important thing of the deck, other than the attackers.
Well, actually, I think fan rotom and Noctowl are more important than the attackers because you're not gonna be able to attack if you don't have them. Like it's so hard to do anything in this deck. Like if fan rotom didn't exist or Noctowl didn't exist, the deck would be absolutely terrible. So you really need those. And there's other ways to power up the attackers, but like in this deck, you need the Noctowls.
Right, that makes sense because yeah, it plays Energy Switch and Crispin, but you got to be able to find those cards. So Noctowl gets you that.
You have to be able to gain those Crystal, Crispin, all those combo pieces with Noctowl.
Right. So where are you placed at right now, North American wise and world wise?
So I am number 16 player in North America, and I'm 36th in the world. So not doing too bad, but also like could be doing. How many points? I have 1,155 points.
1,155. You have more than double my points, and I'm sitting in the top 150 players of Masters. So for anybody listening to that, that is not an easy accomplishment. So Devin, what do you think your best accomplishment as a player is?
Probably my best accomplishment was recently. I got second at the Sacramento Regional Championships. I also got top 32 at Worlds in Yokohama and top 4 at Baltimore. So those are probably my best accomplishments.
Okay. So what goals do you have for the rest of the season?
Goals for the rest of the season. Definitely my main goal is to win a regional because I haven't won a regional yet. And also, top 8 NAIC is one of my main goals and doing well at Worlds. At least top 32 at Worlds.
Understandable. All right. Then we got just a couple more questions for you. What would your top 5 picks for Atlanta be? Power-wise or popularity, either one.
Top 5. I would say Dragapult and Terrabox are the most, definitely. And then next would be Raging Bolt, Archaludon, and Gardevoir. Those are my top 5 for power, I think, and popularity. I'm not sure the order exactly.
Right.
But I could, but I would say, so for power level, it's probably Terrabox, then Dragapult, then Archaludon, I think it's slightly better, then Gardevoir, then Raging Bolt. For popularity, I think it'll be Terrabox, Dragapult, Raging Bolt, Archaludon, Gardevoir 5th, I think. That's my prediction for popularity.
So that's a hot
Like,
take, putting Gardevoir in the 5th for popularity and putting in the top 5 for power. You heard it here, guys. This man believes that Gardevoir still can do it.
So yeah, my rationale with that is Gardevoir, it's still a super high skill expressive deck, and top 5 for popularity is that's not my hot take, but a lot of people are super attached to Gardevoir from old formats, and like we've been playing it for years. So I think usually most people don't switch their decks. Like the average player is usually gonna keep playing the same deck that the one deck that they built, they spent a lot of money on or whatever, and they're gonna play that deck for a while until it rotates. So I think a lot of people will play Gardevoir. And maybe not top 5. That might be too high, but I'm not sure. But I think also some people may figure out that Gardevoir is a pretty good play for this tournament as well.
Speaking of decks that you're highly attached to, what deck would you say that have been the most attached to through your Pokemon career?
I mean, I think you already know the answer, but it's definitely Lugia V-Star. I mean, I got like 6 or 7 top 8s with that deck. And my top 32 at Worlds. Lugia is the deck I've played the most. I mean, it's sad to see it go, but I'm also kind of happy because I get to play something else. Because like I kind of had to play Lugia to like every event.
Right.
So it got somewhat boring.
For those of you who don't know, Devin is actually one of our locals for the Godang Bros. That just shows that in all divisions, masters, juniors, and seniors, we have competitive players. And this guy here is one of those that are putting West Virginia on the map. But that's going to be all for us, Devin. I appreciate your time. Goldangro's out. Stay lucky.
Stay lucky.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that interview with Deven Ramanathan, the winner of the 3K standard tournament post rotation. That just shows we got some strong players here in West Virginia. Down to the younger ones. We also had a top junior Luke Giffen compete in the Masters. Didn't necessarily do as well, but he was up at the top tables for quite some time. It was great to see that. And also team ball guys, Bailey Clevenger. He was doing great. Actually got a stream match. Unfortunately, caught the 6-2 bubble and was on the wrong end of that. There was only one 6-2 to bubble into the top 8, and it was a hard cut. There was no top 16, anything like that, given that it was a cash prize. But Tiger, after that interview, how do you feel about post-rotation going into, this is the first big tournament since we've been added the new Journey Together cards?
Well, with that event that happened, did end up seeing that there were 3 Terra boxes that made top 8. There was a Raging Bolt. There was a Gardevoir. That was a big surprise for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Goldango, Terapagos. I'm pretty sure I missed. And Flareon. So
yes, there was a Flareon.
Modified Terra box. They use Flareon instead of Ogerpon to do the energy acceleration aspect. But other than that, that's pretty close on with what we said. We said the top 3 that you have to be able to beat or be comparative with is Terra Box, Raging Bolt, and Dragapult. I'm still saying Dragapult is not a real deck. You believers are going to have to prove me wrong. I think you just need to wait till Shaman comes out in the next set.
Okay, I mean, I've seen Dragapult really falter, so to that point, as the judge, the cool thing about me is I get to see a lot of games versus play a lot of games, different aspect. But a lot of Dragapults in this post rotation are really struggling without the supporters and the V's and the Radiance and everything else that was really pushing the deck going forward. It does take it a lot longer to set up. We all know it can come back, but I've seen a lot of matches where that just it was missing a piece or a piece there, or it just started so slow to some of these fast-moving decks that it was just impossible for it to come back.
Yeah, anything that can attack turn 1 or take double prizes with Wellspring, a Dusk Noirs, anything of that nature, even Miraidon could potentially do okay in this format if you have the right build because of Iron Hands is just really strong. 2 prizes on the first turn of the game or second turn of the game is really what's going to be the defining factor if Dragapult will win or lose the match. If you get 2 prizes up before they get to a Dragapult, they've probably already lost.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Also, so we already talked, there's lots of Terra Box out there. I think if you're going to Atlanta, you need to prepare for Terra Box. I mean, again, I do not play as competitive as a lot of other people, but the kitchen table play is where I kind of make my ends and work out. And we've been testing a lot of Terra Box, and Terra Box is definitely something to be aware of. There's a lot of Cornerstone out there. If you cannot get past Cornerstone, you will have a hard time in any of these Terra Boxes. I'm sure Tiger's had tons of testing in it. I know we're going to get into his top play here in a minute or so, but let's share some thoughts on Terra Box, Tiger.
Terra Box, it's the Teal Mask, Ogerpon, and Friends deck. Inherently, it plays 4 Hoot Hoot Noctowl and uses all these different Terra-typed attackers, which then activate the Noctowl to use its Jewel Seeker ability. Jewel Seeker lets you go find any 2 trainers as long as you have a Terra Pokemon on board. So that's Terapagos, any of the Ogerpons. Charizard can be activated off of that. Dragapult can be activated off that. Anything that's a Terra type will trigger this effect. Now, for Terra Box specifically, the combo for turn 2 Wellspring is normally, if they don't start Wellspring, it's find Wellspring off of a Nest Ball or some type of search, then Jewel Seeker for Crispin plus Sparkling Crystal. Crispin will get you 2 different energy colors, and you get them both attached to the Wellspring. And then the Sparkling Crystal will activate the water or 1 extra energy you would need. And then Wellspring has the attack Torrential Pump, which shuffle the energies back into the deck, do 100 to the active and 120 to the bench. Well, Tiger, that takes 3 energies. You're right. But the ways that Sparkling Crystal activates makes you kind of bend the rules for the attack to say shuffle the 3 energies back in because you're doing as much as you can. So you shuffle 2 energies back in, and you still get to do the second effect of the attack.
Yeah, as a judge right there, I can speak on that one. The tool that's attached to the Pokemon is reducing the cost of the attack, but doesn't stop the attack from happening. So again, you do as much as possible in this situation. So here, you don't have to, but you have the crystal and you're able to attack. When you do that torrential pump, the cards, all that can go back, and the crystal does not, because that is an item, tool I should say, not item, is a tool attached to the Pokemon. That's helping to reduce the cost to make the attack happen. Now the attacks happen to go back in, and back to that can put that energy right back in the deck and keep your attackers going. Still keep Sob active as well.
Mm-hmm. And for that to go back in, that just means that more Crispins, more Earthen Vessels will keep the energies in play for the Terra Box. The toughest thing about Terra Box is energy and resource management. You don't play a whole lot, and they play a lot of one-of energy colors. Mm-hmm. So that being said, it can get through just about anything, but you have to have the, I don't want to say intelligence to play it, but future sight to know how many resources you're going to have after you attack with a Pikachu, after you put all of your energies onto Teal Mask Ogre Pond and then realized 120 off of the Teal Mask isn't going to do enough for you. These are the things that you have to see going forward. So if you aren't able to go 9+ rounds of best of 3 with Terra Box, I would look for something slightly different to play at Atlanta. If you are cool with it, you played Lost Box, things like that for many years, this is the type of deck for you.
So, yeah, I mean, it can be seen in that top 8 match when Deven was playing against that Goldango player. I mean, the way that he was able to set the Hoot Hoots, chain the Noctowls, find the Crispins, back to the energy management that Tiger was talking about, manage that energy, and put that player in a spot to where I got to hope he don't have it. And he just had it. So, I mean, it's definitely strong going forward. Many people are looking at this list, so definitely be prepared for Terra Box.
Now, for Cornerstone specifically and Walls, and that's why everybody is adding Cornerstones to their deck. If your deck can play Cornerstone and Terapagos, you will beat Walls. Walls is not real, people. Let's move on from it. I love the deck. I tried the deck. I wanted to play it to Atlanta, but it's not good. Anybody that can play a Terapagos and a Cornerstone in their deck will just farm Walls.
Well, I mean, I believe I was talking about this the last regional or last time I was with a bunch of other professor friends. We were talking about Walls and being one of the bigger decks, and the problem with it is it's just like Snorlax. Once it becomes big, everybody's like, all right, I don't want to play it. How do I beat it? How do I get around it? Once those things are found out, it kind of fizzles out like normal. It's still, I mean, if that's your play, that's your play. I mean, I've always one person to say, play what you can play, add your, have the 55 and your 5, add your spice in. But I do agree with Tiger. Walls is not the thing. It's not it. Definitely a lot of better other choices out there. Better choices, yeah. I mean, it's just tough because it's new, and a lot of people were brought to the appeal of Walls. But again, there are some better choices.
Now, if that is what you want to play, don't listen to me. Play what you want. It is still a good deck. It's just make sure you understand how to deal with these decks that have text for you. If you have to add the Monkey Dory package, if you have to add heavier healing cards to deal with this stuff, do it. But make sure that you understand your lines into each one of these matchups.
All right. The other archetype deck I want to talk about, which is always near and dear to me, is Dango. Kind of seeming to make a change. I saw 3 major different ones on the floor. So you saw Dango with Scizor, Dango with the Dunsparce, and I actually saw a Poison Dango. I figured I'd get that face from Tiger. It was only one of them that I saw. I didn't really go over the deck list that much. I'll probably build it and try it out. It played the Scizor, but it also played the Poison package. Not sure how it worked too well, but those were the 3 that I saw. So all I'm saying here is Dango definitely going through some changes. We were testing with Dango Pult. I'm not too confident in it anymore. It definitely draws a lot of cards and is strong, but back to the whole Dragapult, we lost a lot of stuff that made it run good. It kind of falters a little bit. So we're finding our new Dango. At least I am. What do you think about that? I saw the face when you saw Poison Dango. So
Poison Dango seems like a lot of cards. Yes, you draw a lot, but you don't play a lot of switching outs in Goldango. So you were having to revamp this whole deck to add probably 12 cards.
Again, didn't watch the player play it. Just know that it was in my notes. I wrote down that I saw a Poison Dango, and I was like, "That's interesting." Wasn't necessarily top tables or anything. Just that's one I saw.
I feel if the reason they'd be doing that is for Pikachu. Obviously, Goldango struggles with Pikachu, but because your damage output, you have infinite damage. You're not worried about that. A easier tech that a lot of decks that play Latios or heavy switch cards can do if they're scared of Pikachu, Volcanion. The new Volcanion EX is something we're testing with in a couple decks as well. Once it's in the active, you can burn your opponent. Then, okay, we have Latios. Now we switch it out into something we actually want to attack. Pikachu can't stand the burn effect after your turn's over. It's the same reason why our Charodon's playing Poison. We're seeing Hawlucha, we're seeing Monkey Dory, we're seeing all these extra pieces to deal with Pikachu. But if you can't fit those kind of cards, they don't work in your deck. If you have a hyper-aggressive switching deck, or if you are playing one of the big basics that already play Latios or Petron EX, put a Volcanion EX in there. Get in the active, use its ability, then Latios or Petron, the real attacker you want, into the active. You hit him for the number you can do, and then it gets KO'd by the burn. It's a lot simpler and a lot less pieces than the Poison package.
That definitely makes a lot of sense now that you talk about Tiger. That's probably what it was there for. Like I said, I didn't really comb over the list. I just saw it again. Not really sure, but that does make sense. That would counteract that 10 damage that the Pikachu would be left at after a full KO. That's not a bad thing, though. What do you think about the Dundango? Dunsparce.
Dango. That Dango.
That Dango.
I think it's fine. The Dunsparce EX is good. It helps in the against the Raging Bolt matchup. It can help against the Terror Box matchup as long as you have a way to deal with the Pikachu. But in general, I think drawing more cards in Goldango is never going to be a bad thing. Understanding not to just consistently throw your Dunsparces back into the deck is going to be one of the hardest things for people to understand if they play the deck. Because the first couple turns when you're getting set up, cool. Chain the Dunsparces. Do it. Get your cards in your hand. Get set up. Play the game. But once you hit that 3 to 4 prize cards taken, this is where you need to be holding your Dunsparces. People overlook at it. They're like, well, I want to draw more cards to play the game. Also, the Dunsparce can help you get out of that Iono to 2, out of that unfair stamp. You get your whole checklist in there, draw a bunch with your Goldangos, then you Dunsparce, runaway draw more cards. You're back up full, and because your deck's probably low, because Goldango likes to draw cards and throw things away, you probably found your Dunsparces again, as long as you did your searches and thinnings correctly.
So that was going to be my point there.
Yep.
Because Chimpao, I remember when I was working up with Chimpao and with Goldango, sequencing is key. A lot of people think it's easy, you're just drawing. You have to sequence everything. My point there is if you're throwing those Dunduns in early just to get a draw, you're probably drawing back into them, which is making that likelihood of getting the cards that you actually need less. So to Tiger's point, get your game going. Draw your cards. But at some point, I've even had to listen to this from him and take it to heart. Sometimes you don't need to draw. Sometimes it's better to hold those there. And like he said, stay Iono proof. Goldango is notorious for coming out of Ionos. Trust me, I don't know how many games I've been Iono to 2 or 1. And because I've had 7 draws on board, I got out of it. Have that ability to get out of that late game Iono or whatever disruption, because you can just be like, all right, cool. They got rid of all the cards I was going to rock them with. I'm going to draw 3 and hopefully get back into it. Definitely comes. You got to be a gold dangle player at heart to understand that one, though. Heart of the cards.
Heart of the cards. Wrong game, but right out.
Right message. Other than that, I mean, they're really, so Flareon was out there at Mage Stream. Guardy, new built Guardy got up there. Wasn't bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about that. I mean, I don't know if it. I've seen a lot of Natu Guardy played on live on the ladder. I mean, not sure if that's it either. Again, I'm not one to really deduce what's it, what's not.
Yeah.
I'm more just I'm gonna play a bunch of games and tell them what's going on. So I don't know how Guardy does. I don't know. I can't think of anything else special that I saw on the floor. Did you look through the metacast? Is there anything other than those that you saw? It was like, hey, what is that?
Terapagos seems pretty good in general, just with the Bouffalants and tanking damage. That seems like an important aspect right now. It has a good matchup spread in general, has some really bad matchups to things like Charizard, aggressive Archaludons, anything that plays Dust Noir because it can blow up the Bouffalants. Things like that will give it struggle, but all around, Terapagos seems pretty okay. If you're in a situation where you're just trying to get points, Terapagos could be one of those decks that you just, all right, cool. I'm going to win 5 to 6 games at Atlanta and get my points for the day towards Worlds and be done with it. Now, are you trying to get a deep run? I wouldn't take Terapagos.
Okay. Valid. Yeah, well, like I said, that was about all I saw. So Terapagos is Tiger's pick. If you're trying to get points, we've talked about this before. If you're just trying to do decent, that's what we would call that one B, one that you can actually place with. Get close. Other than that, the doubleheader did have a GLC tournament on Sunday. I was super excited to play in it, which I did. Didn't necessarily go my way. So for all you that don't know, I've been curating a Jungle Titans for like 2 years now. Everybody always says Rillasaur isn't it. It's impossible. So to explain that, you have a Rillaboom, evolves from Grookey, Thwackey to Rillaboom with Jungle Beat, takes 2 energies out of your deck, attaches them to 1 Pokemon. Then you also have the Venusaur with the Jungle Totem ability, which doubles those. So for any of you Magic players out there, or maybe other card games, you can kind of understand this is really exponentially increasing the amount of energies, or in Magic terms, lands that I have on the field or on that Pokemon. With what everybody calls a Hydro Pump attack, essentially, it escalates for as many energies that's on there. So when I have 2 energies, even though the attack cost is 3, if I have Venusaur active, that actually has 4 energies on it, the attack is going, and it counts as 4 energies. Very scary stuff. And let's say it was very scary because I was not able to do anything and get set up. I had one game, my second round, where I really did scare this colorless player. I got everything set up. It was a tight game. I ended up losing. I messed up, didn't count the damage right. Probably could have got a knockout when it was 4-2 on the prize count. Brought it a little closer. Maybe not change the game, but because I messed up, I most definitely lost. But every other game after that, let's just say the Jungle Titans had a target on their back. I could not get set up. Every game went the same. First 3 hands, disrupted. I mean, I would do my searches, go second, either Kricketot or use the Zerude to search for 3 grass Pokemon of any stage. Yeah, as soon as I do that, I'm getting judged. I'm getting Iono'd. It's going all the way back in. I'm resetting up, taking time to do that. And if they cannot take knockouts in the time being, they're knocking out my vitals. Let's just say I couldn't do it. I had one game where I literally had Kricketot, I had Grookey and Thwackey, and then I had the whole Venusaur line in the Lost Zone due to a stuck Lost City that I could not get rid of. I didn't get anything to get the stadium kicked out. Trust me, I wanted a field blower. I wanted the counter stadium. I didn't have any search cards, no teammates, no nothing to actually find that kick. I ended up having to scoop. The game wasn't even over because I literally had it would have took me too long to attach. They were playing, so to give you a little more there too. They were playing the colorless, but it was the Pack Hunt Ursaluna colorless. So what Pack Hunt is, it's an attack that allows you to pull 2 cards from your discard pile, put them in your hand. It plays a triple acceleration energy, and it also plays a Lux Cape. So he Luxurious Caped it up to 280, and then has the triple acceleration, and he can constantly bring back cards every other turn. To use it, you have to discard the energy. He brings it back. That's the part I missed. But knowing that he could constantly do that, I was never going to manually attach enough to get to the 280. So I had to scoop it there. But it was still fun. Got to see a lot of different builds. Met up with another community, cardboardwarriors.net. For anybody that's looking for GLC resources, they have a Discord community and a website. They share lists. You could talk to people that literally, I was looking at one fighting list. He has a whole pretty much biography on the how to play it, what to do in each situation. For anybody that is interested in GLC, it's an alternative format. It's really fun. If you're just trying to have fun and kind of take a break from the competitive side, definitely take a look.
All right, guys. The Tiger top pick of the day for Atlanta, I've got 2 for you guys. They're both neither of these are in the top 3 decks that people are playing. I'm going to go ahead and say it out loud. My 2 personal picks are Charizard or Archaladon. The versions are up to you to make the decision on. We prefer the Arch Poison. We call it Mick Poison because it's the poison arches.
Mick Poison.
And then I've got Charizard and Friends, which plays a little bit more than just your Terapagos and Charizard in it.
There we go. So that's Tiger's top plays for Atlanta. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the Poison Arches out there. We can go into a little more deeper about what we like with it. But I am definitely on board with that. The Charizard, I'm not so much. I haven't played enough of it to really see. I did play a couple on the ladder last night. Kind of got cooked a few times. It was late, though. But the Arch Poison I've been playing a lot of. I really do like it if you can get everything set up right. I still need to work on everything to set up right. But it does hold one of my favorite types being Steel. I love the engine in the Archaladon. I mean, it's as simple as an engine gets. You evolve it, add 2, and go. So once you have one going, as long as you can return those 2 and get another Evo, your energy production is there. Very reminiscent of many metal decks in the past. I can think of my metal GLC does similar. But yeah, Tiger, you want to go a little more into what Poison Arch appeals to you about?
The Donk Factor. Everybody here knows about the Donk Factor, that you can get Perilous Jungle as your stadium, which does 2 more poison damage to non-dark types. The Baby Petulant with its poison effect that lets you do an extra 5 poison ticks. And then the Brute Bonnet with the Ancient Booster on it. The Brute Bonnet's ability is, if it has the Ancient Booster capsule on it, it just poisons your active. Mm-hmm. Which is another thing that helps deal with Pikachu. Wink, wink. Mm-hmm. But 10 from the Poison, 5 from the Petulant, and 2 from the Perilous Jungle is 80 damage that you can chuck out turn 1. So if your opponent starts a Hoothoot, a Charmander, a Duskull, a Fanrotom, any of these little guys, you can literally just win the game before they're allowed to play. If not, say they start a Raging Bolt or a Terapagos, and you take first from them anyway, you throw 80 damage on it, evolve into your Archaladon the next turn, cool, 80 damage onto either of those guys, even with a charm on it, is still getting KO'd by Archaladon. And it's still taking more poison damage unless they bump the stadium as well.
The Mochi? So I don't know if I heard you talk about the Mochi either. The Mochi helps catch some of those high HPs as well.
Yes, if you Archaladon without using Monkey Dory, some people are playing Monkey, some people are not. Just straight out the gate, what you can do is 220 with the Metal Defender, 60 with the Mochi, so 40 with the Mochi to make it 260.
Mm-hmm.
Then the poison damage becomes an extra 30. So you can just straight out the gate hit for 290. So that's KOing every basic in the format with a charm, minus Terapagos with Bouffalance and their charm on board. But when it comes back into, if they don't move out the active, they're going to take another 30 coming back into your turn. That's the other thing. So effectively, over a swing and a comeback, you hit 320. What number does that hit? Dragapult also. So there's a lot of things, a lot of math going on with this effect. One of the biggest things that people will forget, and don't let people get this past you, if you KO my Pokemon and then I push up Pecharunt, the baby one, the poison will get the buff. So say I had Badoo in the active. I poisoned you, and then you KO'd me. Then I push up Pecharunt. You are now getting the full effect of the Pecharunt because that is a before checkup that I have to push the Pecharunt active.
Like, can definitely second that, because when the game checks for KOs and then promotions, abilities are also salt right there. That Pokemon, like he said, the Badoo is still poison, correct, Tiger? And that poison never changed on another active. And as the card reads, if that opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, put so many more damage counters on it. That is now in the active. That ability is hitting. So yeah, that is definitely something, some big brain moves to think about when it comes to the McPoison.
Yeah, it's not as straightforward as the double version. Now, if you like Archaludon and you want to play a big bridge, I would say the easier version of the two is the double version with the Rigid Band and the Monkey Dories.
Yeah, I definitely, with that, the double is good. I mean, having a boss from bench on a ability of a Pokemon is pretty good. Really makes you worry about those little sheep being down there just hanging out. When you're playing against somebody, like, am I going to get bossed this turn and they'll be able to use their supporter? I feel like definitely Poison Arches, McPoison, as we've coined it, is definitely one that we need to make one of our deck list videos, which we are going to be working on here very soon. A lot of stuff we've been working on in the background, trying to get this thing rolling. So want to thank everybody for sitting and watching, by the way, real quick. Because we're growing.
Yeah, without you guys, we have nothing.
Yeah, so we're growing here. Like I said, we're going to get better. We got a whole new intro we're working on. We got a lot of stuff coming your way. But our last thing for today, as far as Pokemon-wise, our deck list dive in, we kind of talked about it, and it was the Zacian Iron Valiant Kibbles and Bits 2.0. We've been calling it. I've been having a lot of fun with it. As you guys probably learned by now, I like a lot of fast-moving, quick-hitting decks. That's definitely one of them. Attacks with very little energy. And you are able to really get some cheesy wins, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean you're able to get some real quick knockouts before they can even play more than one turn. The Snorlax and the Cramorant are just key for getting big damage. Big problem though, and I'm sure Tiger's going to go into it, it doesn't have that final game punch like you really want unless you were spreading a lot of damage a lot of different ways, and that's probably what I'm missing on the Valiant side. Really makes me want to find a Hops deck that works. But I am having fun with Kibs and Bits. So go ahead, Tiger. Go ahead and let them know what I'm doing wrong with the Iron Valiants. I guarantee you that's what it is.
So in general, Iron Valiant EX has the ability Tachyon Bits. When it moves to the active, you can put 2 damage counters onto one Pokemon. So putting that into the bench is normally where you're going to go with it, because your active is going to receive a nice chunk of damage from the Zacian, the Hop Zacian. Hop Zacian's first attack does 30 to the active, 30 to a bench. But we have Hop's Choice Belt, we have Postwick, we have Snorlax. All of these gives the active Hops Pokemon 30 more damage. So if you have the Choice Band, the Snorlax, the Postwick out, that Hop Zacian is going to hit for 120 to the active and then 30 to a bench. Well, how does that do anything for us? Well, that's where the Tachyon Bits come in. So the Tachyon Bits, so say your opponent got a Hoot Hoot and 2 Hoo Hoots down. They started a Hoot Hoot, got a second Hoot Hoot down. They both have 70 HP. You can go Tachyon Bits, put 2 on the bench Hoot Hoot. Now it only has 50 HP left. Switch into another Iron Valiant, Tachyon Bits, 2 more damage counters onto the back hoot hoot. Now it has 30 left. Well, that 30 damage from the Zacian second attack now makes a lot of relevant sense. So you punch the first one for 90 to 120, and then you put the bench damage onto the back one. And that's how you can win in one turn or really cripple somebody's setup. Now, what it does lack in mid to late game is it doesn't have super heavy hitters. Yes, the Cramorant hits for 120 plus another 90 if you get the full Hops package, which is cool. It can take out some support Pokemon and basic EXs, but that still doesn't help you if somebody has a Dragapult, if somebody has a Charizard, if somebody has a Terapagos with the full package. Also something to mention, Tachyon Bits goes through Pikachu's effect. Just saying. But what we have come to the conclusion is to fix some of your late game stuff is you're going to punch, you're going to Tachyon Bits, and then you're going to play TM Devolution. TM Devo can help with any of these stage 1, stage 2 decks that you just can't really poke to win. So let's say Goldango. Goldango's Gimme Ghouls have 70 HP. What did we say earlier? 2 Tachyon Bits and a punch from the active, punch to the bench. Now you have 2 of them set up and ready for the next turn. TM Devo, both those gimmies go away because the Goldangos get lifted up off of them, and now you just got your last 2 prizes.
Yeah, definitely strong. That Devo, when we added it in, it's done some work for me online, that's for sure. Stopped a lot of Dragapults that rare candy up. Puts them in a position to be like, they still have their Dreepies, but now they got to refine that evolution line to get rocking again. Definitely a good one, too. Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, it definitely is fun. Anybody that wants to try it, there's a bunch of lists out there. Like we said, Zacian, Iron Valiant. Maybe we'll get one shared on our page soon. That's something we're trying to get out there, get more of the lists that we're testing on so everybody can see it. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely one I've been having fun on the ladder. I think I'm halfway to 500 with it. Probably time to find a new one, though, because some of these upper level matches like we got, it's not having that final punch power to really finish it after I had such a solid open game.
Yep. There is a second version of the Hops Zacian deck that plays Monkey Dory. It struggles more in the early game because you can't get the donks as well, but it has a better late game because you can chip out the extra damage with the Monkey Dory to keep your Zacian alive a little bit longer. So that way when you do the Devo play, it is a little bit more impactful because if you don't get the donk wins that you're playing for with the Iron Valiant version, you have the better late game. So if you're more technical, I would suggest playing the Monkey Dory version. If you're super hyper aggressive like Sean is, play the Tachyon Bits version. Go for the donks. We go big or go home in this household.
Yep, that's it. Go big or go home. But all right, that's about all for the Pokemon stuff. Atlanta is right around the corner. I know we're excited for some real good food and definitely weather. We're up in West Virginia where it's a little bit rainy. I mean, it's not bad today. I'm not gonna lie. Looking outside, it looks kind of good, but it's been a mix of rain and cold and everything else. I'm ready for some hot Georgia weather. What about you, Tiger?
100%. I am here for some wings and some good weather.
Yeah, I know we got some plans to have at least a special episode or shoot an episode at the regional, whether it's in the venue hall or whether it's outside the venue hall. We'll figure that one out, but we'll definitely be bringing you stuff from Atlanta on Friday, possibly something live. We'll just see what we can get working there and how everybody's schedules. I'm not working Friday, but I'll be on side Saturday and Sunday. So anybody out there that wants to have some fun time, I'll be the first one to tell you sides is the best part of regionals. I know many of you go there to compete, and I get that. But once that's done, if you don't get to where you're planning to be, don't be down on yourself. Don't just hate the game. See if you can relive that in sides. Go win some prize tickets. Find something on the wall. If anything, meet some new people. Make some friends. Come see us and have fun. I mean, we got GLC. We got raids. We got building battles. There's parent tournaments. There's going to be pods all the time. So there is definitely no reason to say I was in Atlanta and I didn't get enough Pokemon in. All right, because there is
100%.
tons of opportunities, and if you don't know where to go and you see me with the Grookey on the head and my judge shirt, come find me. I will point you to the right place to go.
And if you guys see any of the rest of us, me, Troy, or Sean, come say hi. Bring your decks, show us off, tell us what you're excited for. If you have any spicy decks, if you're just wanting to hang out and play some matches, we're going to be there and we're going to be just having fun. So come hang out with us.
All right. So on that note, we'll go ahead and sign off for this episode. I hope you enjoyed everything we brought you. Like I said, we got some strong players here in West Virginia. Be on the lookout for more of them to hit the top, right? Right, Tiger? Right?
Exactly. Juniors, seniors, and masters. West Virginia is on the map.
All right. So from your boys over here at Gold Dang Bros Gaming, stay lucky.